The letter trembled in my hands as I stood in my kitchen, surrounded by the organized chaos of prep work for tomorrow's wedding reception. Yellowed and creased, it was written in my brother's messy teenage scrawl. I promise I'll help pay for culinary school when I make it big, sis. You're the best cook ever. I'm Jade, and that promise died 15 years ago, just like most of Brent's promises do. The irony of finding this letter today, of all days, wasn't lost on me. My phone buzzed again, the eighth time in the last hour. I knew it was Brent without looking. Finally, I answered. "Where have you been? I've been calling forever." His voice boomed through the speaker. "Working, Brent. You know, that thing people do to earn money?" I balanced the phone between my ear and shoulder while piping delicate rosettes onto a trial cake. "Perfect timing then. I need you to cater my housewarming party next weekend. Nothing fancy, just your usual spread. Maybe those mini crab cakes everyone loves?" I stopped piping. "Next weekend? Brent, I'm booked solid through the next month." "Come on, Jade. It's family. You can move some things around. This is important. I've got potential investors coming. You know how crucial first impressions are." The rosette I was working on collapsed under excessive pressure from my hands. My business isn't just a hobby I can move around. These are paid contracts. But family comes first, right? Mom always says that. I laughed bitterly. Funny how family only comes first when you need something from me. Don't be dramatic. Remember when I helped you move last year? You mean when you showed up 3 hours late, moved 2 boxes, and left early for a golf game? That's not fair. I had commitments. He paused. "Look, this is really important. I'll pay you, well, cover the ingredients at least. Family discount, right?" My kitchen timer buzzed, saving me from responding immediately. I pulled out a tray of test appetizers I'd been working on for next week's wedding. The same wedding I'd have to reschedule if I agreed to Brent's demands. "How many people?" I heard myself ask, hating that I was even considering it. "Just 50 or 60, maybe 70 tops. Nothing you can't handle." I closed my eyes, calculating the cost, the time, the staff I'd need. "Brent, that's a $3,000 event minimum." Jade, come on, you're family. I just bought this house. I'm stretched thin as it is." "So am I. Do you have any idea what my overhead costs are? The staff I need to pay?" "You're being selfish. Mom will be so disappointed." There it was, the guilt card. I glanced at the old letter again, still lying on my counter. Something inside me snapped. "Fine," I said flatly. "Next Saturday, send me the details." "You're the best, sis. I knew I could count on you. Mom was right. You'll never let family down." After hanging up, I stared at my phone until a text from Kent, my boyfriend, lit up the screen. "Still on for dinner?" 20 minutes later, I was sliding into a booth across from Kent at our favorite diner. His smile faded as he saw my face. "Brent again?" I nodded, picking at my napkin. "I just found an old letter where he promised to help pay for culinary school. Remember how that turned out?" "You mean when he bought that luxury car instead?" "The very one. Now he wants me to cater his housewarming party. 60 people. For free." Kent reached across the table, taking my hand. "And you said?" "What I always say, yes." I pulled my hand back, grabbing my phone as it buzzed with Brent's detailed demands. "Jade, I know, but you don't understand the guilt trips, the family pressure. Mom always takes his side. Maybe it's time they learned what it's like without you always saving the day." I looked up from the increasingly demanding text messages. "What do you mean?" "You've got that vacation time saved up. We could go somewhere. Next weekend, maybe?" "Kent, I couldn't possibly." My phone buzzed again. Another message from Brent. "Actually, might be closer to 80 people. No big deal for you though, right? Family first." I stared at the message, then at Kent's concerned face, then back at my phone. The old letter flashed in my mind, along with years of broken promises and taken for granted favors. "You know what?" I said slowly, a plan forming in my mind. "Maybe it's time for a beach vacation. Kent's eyes widened as he caught my meaning. Are you serious? I picked up my phone, pulled up a travel app, and started browsing flights. Family first, right? Maybe it's time I put myself first for a change. You did what? Vada nearly spat out her coffee across my kitchen counter. 3 days had passed since I'd booked the beach vacation, and I'd finally worked up the courage to tell someone. Booked a non-refundable trip to Cancun for next weekend. I continued prepping for today's corporate lunch delivery, trying to sound more confident than I felt. The same weekend as Brent's party? She leaned forward, eyes sparkling. Girl, I've been waiting 15 years for you to stand up to him. I haven't exactly told him yet. I focused on chopping herbs, avoiding her gaze. Or anyone in the family. Oh, this is delicious. Better than these amazing appetizers you're making. She popped another sample into her mouth. So, what's the plan? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Mom's face lit up the screen. Speaking of family, I showed Vada the phone. She made a go-on gesture. Hi, Mom. Jade, honey, I need you to add 10 more people to Brent's party list. Some important clients of his. I put down my knife. Did Brent ask you to call me? Well, yes, but why couldn't he call himself? He said you weren't answering his texts. Don't be difficult, Jade. This is a big opportunity for him. I caught Vada rolling her eyes dramatically. Mom, every opportunity is big for Brent. Remember my restaurant opening last year? The one he skipped for a pickup basketball game? That was different. He had commitments. And I don't? My business isn't just a hobby, Mom. Nobody's saying it is, but family comes first, I finished. Yeah, I know. After hanging up, I gripped the counter until my knuckles turned white. Vada slid over and wrapped an arm around my shoulders. You know what the worst part is? I said. Last month, Brent convinced Dad to invest in some sketchy crypto scheme instead of my catering expansion plan. Didn't even let me make my pitch. Time to rip off the Band-Aid, Vada said. Show them what life's like without their reliable Jade. My phone buzzed with a text from Sophia, my niece. Mom says they're being difficult about Uncle Brent's party, but I get it. He can be a real dick sometimes. I smiled, showing Vada the message. At least someone in the family sees it. Speaking of seeing things, Vada pulled up a real estate website on her phone. Look what I found, your brother's new house listing. I stared at the screen. 1.2 million? He said he was stretched thin. Oh, but family discount, right? Vada mimicked Brent's voice perfectly. Just then, Kent walked in with travel documents in hand. Got our resort confirmation. His smile faded, seeing my expression. Having second thoughts? No, I said firmly, surprising myself. Actually, I'm getting more convinced by the minute. Good, he said, laying out the papers. Because I also booked us sunset sailing and a couple's massage. Vada clapped her hands. Now that's what I call family first. My phone buzzed again. Brent. I hit ignore. You'll have to tell them eventually, Kent said gently. I will, just not yet. I returned to my prep work. Let him sweat a little. Jade Parker, you've got an evil streak. Vada grinned. I love it. The rest of the week passed in a blur of ignored calls and vague responses to family messages. I focused on wrapping up my other catering commitments and preparing my staff for my absence. Friday evening, the night before the party, my dad called. Princess, your mother's worried. Brent says he can't reach you about tomorrow's menu. Dad. I took a deep breath. Remember when I was 12 and Brent promised to come to my dance recital? That was a long time ago. He went to a movie instead, and you all said it was fine because the movie was important to his social life. I paused. When did my thing stop being important? Silence on the line. I have to go, Dad. My flight's early tomorrow. Flight? What flight? Give Mom and Brent my love. I hung up, hands shaking. Kent found me sitting on our packed suitcase, staring at my phone. Having a crisis? He asked. No, I said, standing up. For the first time in forever, I'm having clarity. My phone lit up with a final text from Sophia. Whatever you are planning, I'm here for it. Give 'em hell, Aunt Jade. I turned to Kent. You know what? I think it's time to put my phone on airplane mode. For the whole week. That's my girl, he said, pulling me close. Ready to put yourself first? I looked around at our packed bags, the travel documents, and finally at my silent phone. More than ready. Let's see how family first works without the family doormat. The next morning, as our plane took off, I imagined Brent waking up to his perfect party day. He had no idea what was coming, and for once, I didn't feel guilty at all. The morning sun streamed through the airplane window as we reached cruising altitude. Kent squeezed my hand as I stared at my phone one last time before switching it off. Last chance to back out, he said softly. I showed him my screen. 37 missed calls and counting. No turning back now. The flight attendant stopped at our row. Mimosa. God, yes, I said, accepting the glass. Make it a double. As I sipped my drink, my mind wandered to what must be happening back home. It was 8 a.m. Brent would be waking up to his perfect party day, probably expecting his reliable sister to have everything under control. My phone buzzed one final time before I turned it off. A voicemail from Mom. Jade, honey, where are you? Brent says he can't reach you about the setup time. Call me back immediately. Kent took my phone gently from my hands and slipped it into airplane mode. Time to relax. 3 hours later, we stepped into the warm Mexican air. Palm trees swayed in the breeze, and the ocean sparkled in the distance. As we waited for our luggage, I spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Vada? I gasped. What are you doing here? She emerged from behind a column, grinning. You think I'd miss this? Kent arranged it all. I turned to Kent, who shrugged innocently. You needed backup. Plus, Vada added, someone needs to document the nuclear fallout back home. I've got Sophia on reconnaissance duty. My stomach tightened. What's happening? Vada pulled out her phone, showing me a text from Sophia. OMG Aunt Jade. Uncle Brent just realized there's no food coming. He's turning purple. It's barely noon, I said. The party's not for hours. Oh, honey. Vada scrolled through more messages. He's been calling catering services all morning. Apparently someone warned them all about taking last-minute bookings today. I raised an eyebrow at Kent, who suddenly became very interested in the luggage carousel. You didn't... I might have made a few calls, he admitted. Mentioned to some industry friends that accepting a rushed booking today could damage their relationship with your catering company. Kent! What? You're one of the biggest names in the business. People listen when your company makes requests. Our resort shuttle arrived, and as we drove along the coast, Vada's phone kept buzzing with updates. Sophia says Brent's now trying to convince your mom to cook everything herself. Vada laughed. Your mom, the woman who burned water. He's desperate, Kent said. It's almost time for his precious investors to arrive. I should have felt guilty. Instead, I felt lighter with each mile between me and home. The resort appeared ahead, a paradise of white beaches and swaying palms. As we checked in, Vada's phone chimed again. Oh, this is good, she said. Your mom finally tried calling your business line. And? Your voicemail message played. You've reached Jade's Catering. We are currently on a scheduled vacation. For emergencies, please contact our partner services. Partner services who've all been warned off, Kent finished. The hotel manager handed us our room keys. Welcome to paradise. Would you like to book any excursions? Actually, I said, how about that sunset sailing trip right now? But we just got here, Kent started. Perfect timing. The manager checked his tablet. The boat leaves in 30 minutes. As we hurried to our rooms to change, Vada's phone buzzed continuously. Brent's calling every restaurant in town, she reported. They're all booked solid. Saturday, remember? In our room, I slipped into my swimsuit, trying not to think about the chaos unfolding back home. Kent wrapped his arms around me from behind. Having regrets? I turned to face him. You know what? No. For the first time in my life, I'm not dropping everything to fix Brent's problems. Good. He kissed my forehead. Because there's a catamaran with our name on it. As we headed to the dock, Vada showed me one last message from Sophia. Mom's freaking out. Grandma's crying. Uncle Brent just threw his phone across the room. Best day ever. The captain greeted us with fresh margaritas. As we pulled away from the dock, I raised my glass. To family first, I said. To family first, Kent and Vada echoed, clinking their glasses with mine. The shore grew distant behind us, and with it, all the expectations and obligations I'd carried for years. Somewhere back home, my brother was learning a hard lesson about taking people for granted. But here, with the wind in my hair and the sun on my face, I was finally, wonderfully free. You know, Vada said, scrolling through her phone one last time before putting it away. I think this might be the best catering job you've never done. For the first time in days, I laughed without restraint. She was right. This was exactly where I needed to be. Back at Brent's new house, chaos was unfolding. I didn't witness it firsthand, of course, but Sophia's steady stream of text to Vada painted the picture perfectly. As we lounged by the resort pool the next morning, Vada read them aloud like breaking news bulletins. Update from 4 hours ago, Vada announced, adjusting her sunglasses. Uncle Brent's trying to pass off grocery store cheese platters as artisanal selections. Even the Walmart staff looked embarrassed for him. Kent snorted into his piña colada. What time did the party start? 3 p.m., I said, checking my watch. So right about now, Vada's phone buzzed again. Oh my God, listen to this. First guests arriving. Uncle Brent told them the caterer had a family emergency. Everyone's asking if it's you. He's sweating through his designer shirt. Family emergency, I repeated. Well, he's not wrong. Wait, there's more. Vada sat up straight. Grandma's stress cooking in the kitchen. She found a Pinterest recipe for fancy appetizers. The smoke alarm's already gone off twice. Kent ordered another round of drinks. Should we feel bad? Ask me again after I hear about the investors' reactions, I said, but my stomach did a small flip. The next message came minutes later. The investors just arrived. Uncle Brent's trying to explain why there's only Costco cookies and burnt mini quiches. One guy just asked if this was some kind of joke. I closed my eyes, letting the sun warm my face. The guilt was trying to creep in, but I pushed it back. Remember your restaurant opening? Kent said, reading my expression. When Brent promised to bring those restaurant critics he knew? And then ghosted me because his fantasy football team made the playoffs? I nodded. Yeah, I remember. OMG, Vada read. Mom just found Aunt Jade's vacation post on Instagram. Uncle Brent's face went from red to purple to white. Pretty sure he stopped breathing for a second. I sat up. What post? I haven't posted anything. Kent raised his hand slowly. That might have been me. Just a subtle shot of our sunset sail yesterday. Tagged you in it. You're evil, I laughed. I love it. The updates kept coming as we moved from the pool to the beach bar. The investors left after 30 minutes. One of them actually laughed out loud. Dad's stress-eating all the backup chips. Mom's crying in the bathroom. Uncle Brent just announced that the real food is on its way. Pretty sure he's delirious. Then came the video. Sophia had managed to capture Brent's meltdown in the kitchen, his voice carrying clearly through the house. Where the hell is she? She's ruined everything. Everything. Does she know how much I have riding on this? Mom's voice in the background. I'm sure there's been some mistake. Jade would never... Never what? Stand up to precious Brent? That was Sophia, off camera. Maybe she's tired of being taken for granted. Stay out of this, Brent snapped. This is all her fault. She promised. Family comes first. Like when you promised to help with her culinary school? Sophia shot back. Or when you convinced Grandpa not to invest in her business. Silence fell in the kitchen. The video ended. Your niece, Vada said, is my new hero. My phone lay dark and silent on the table, still in airplane mode. Part of me wanted to turn it on, to deal with the fallout. The other part ordered another margarita. They'll get over it, Kent said, reading my mind. Or they won't. Either way, you've made your point. Vada's phone chimed with the final update of the day. Party's over. Most guests left within an hour. Uncle Brent's locked himself in his study. But get this, 3 different people asked me for Aunt Jade's business card. Said anyone who could make Brent this crazy must be worth hiring. I couldn't help but laugh. So I'm getting bookings out of this? Karma, Vada said, raising her glass. Sweet, delicious karma. As the sun set over the ocean, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks, I thought about Brent's perfect party in ruins. The guilt was there, yes, but so was something else. Relief. Pride, even. You know what the funny thing is, I said, watching the waves roll in? He probably still doesn't get it. He's probably sitting there thinking I did this to hurt him, not that this is the consequence of how he's treated me for years. Want to really blow his mind? Vada grinned, holding up her phone. Sophia says she found that old letter, the one about culinary school. She's thinking of showing it to your parents. I considered it for a moment, then shook my head. Let's save that bomb for when we get back. Right now, I just want to enjoy this moment. 2 moments, Kent raised his glass. 2 consequences, Vada added. To finally putting myself first, I finished, clinking my glass with theirs as the last rays of sun disappeared beneath the horizon. 2 days into our vacation, the story exploded online. I was sipping a morning coffee on our balcony when Vada burst into our room, her phone thrust forward like breaking news evidence. You've gone viral, she announced. Sophia posted about the party on TikTok. Kent appeared from the bathroom, toweling his hair. What? I grabbed her phone. The video started with a pan across Brent's empty food tables, set with elegant platters containing sad-looking supermarket snacks. Sophia's voice narrated, when you're a rich, entitled uncle who expects your successful caterer sister to work for free and finds out she's done being the family doormat. Justice for Aunt Jade. Oh God, I groaned. How many views? 2 million and climbing, Vada said. The comments are gold. She wasn't wrong. People were sharing their own stories of entitled siblings, tagging it, Justice for Aunt Jade. Someone had even found my catering company's social media and started leaving 5-star reviews praising my backbone installation services. My phone, which I'd briefly turned on to check work emails, started buzzing with notifications. I quickly switched it back to airplane mode. That's not even the best part, Vada continued scrolling. Remember those investors? Turns out one of them is a major food critic. He posted about the disaster on his blog. She read aloud. In 15 years of reviewing events, I've never seen such a blatant display of entitled nepotism backfiring. Note to future hosts. Professional caterers are professionals for a reason. They deserve respect, compensation, and apparently, beach vacations. Kent whistled. Well, that's going to leave a mark. A knock at our door revealed the hotel manager. Ms. Jade, there's a situation requiring your attention. My heart sank. My family? No, ma'am. Your business Instagram account has gained 50,000 followers overnight. Our social media team thought you should know. Several major magazines are requesting interviews. I sat down hard on the bed. Interviews? Yes, about standing up to toxic family dynamics in business. They're calling you an inspiration. Vada squealed. Girl, you're a movement. The manager handed me a tablet showing my company's social media. The comments section was flooded. Finally, someone showing that family first goes both ways. Booking this queen for my wedding ASAP. Can you cater my divorce party? I'll pay triple. This is insane, I muttered. Another notification popped up. A message from Mom. Despite my better judgment, I opened it. Your father's disappointed. Brent's reputation is ruined. Please come home and fix this. Before I could respond, Sophia sent a new video to Vada. This one showed Brent pacing in his study, yelling into his phone, What do you mean you're pulling out of the deal? It was just a catering issue. No, I can explain. Hello? Hello? The camera panned to show my mother standing in the doorway, finally looking uncertain. Maybe, she said quietly, we should talk about how we've been treating Jade. Not now, Mom, Brent snapped. I'm losing everything because of her little tantrum. Exactly. My mother's voice grew stronger. You're losing everything because you took her for granted. Because we all did. The video ended there. I looked up to find Kent and Vada watching me carefully. You okay? Kent asked. I don't know, I admitted. This wasn't supposed to get so big. But it needed to, Vada said firmly. Look at your mom finally getting it. Sometimes it takes a public wake-up call. My phone buzzed again. Dad this time. Princess, we need to talk. About that letter. About everything. The hotel manager cleared his throat. Should I tell the magazines you're unavailable? I thought about years of swallowed resentment, of canceled plans and broken promises, of being the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who always gave in. Then I thought about my mother's words in that video. No, I said. Tell them I'll do the interviews, but not until next week, when I'm back home. And your family? Kent asked. They can wait too. I'm done dropping everything for emergencies that aren't really emergencies. Vada's phone chimed with one final update from Sophia. Grandma found the letter. She's crying again, but different this time. Thinks she finally sees what's been happening. P.S. Got 3 more bookings for you. You're welcome. I walked to the balcony, looking out at the perfect beach day ahead. Behind me, I could hear Vada reading more viral comments, Kent ordering breakfast, the world shifting in unexpected ways. You know what? I turned back to them. Let's go snorkeling. The family drama will still be there tomorrow. And you'll be ready for it, Kent said. Yeah, I smiled, feeling stronger than I had in years. I really will be. For the first time, I realized this wasn't just about one catering job or one entitled brother. This was about setting boundaries, demanding respect, and finally, putting myself first. And apparently, 2 million people agreed with me. They want to video call, I announced, staring at my mother's text message. We were on our last full day in Mexico, lounging at the private beach cabana I'd splurged on with my suddenly booming catering deposits. Vada lowered her magazine. Are you ready for that? No, I admitted, but I don't think I'll ever be. Kent squeezed my hand. We're right here. I took a deep breath and hit accept on the call. My parents' faces filled the screen, with Brent lurking in the background of what looked like their living room. Jade? Mom started, then stopped, taking in my beachy surroundings. You look relaxed. Amazing what happens when you take a real vacation instead of catering other people's parties. Brent stepped forward. Is this a joke to you? Do you have any idea what you've done? Brent, Dad warned, but I was already sitting up straighter. What I've done? Let's talk about what you've done. Sophia, show them. The camera panned to reveal Sophia sitting quietly in the corner. She pulled out the old letter and began reading. Dear Jade, I promise when I make it big. That's not fair, Brent interrupted. I was a kid. You were 18, I shot back. I was 15, and you knew exactly what you were promising. I couldn't afford. You bought a Porsche instead, and now you have $1 million house but you can't pay your sister's catering rates? Mom's face crumpled. We didn't know about the letter. There's a lot you didn't know, Mom, or chose not to see. That's why we're calling, Dad said quietly. We need to talk, really talk. I glanced at Kent and Vada, who both nodded encouragingly. Okay, I said, let's talk. First, Mom began, we saw the media coverage. Your father and I, we had no idea how much pressure we put on you. While giving Brent a free pass on everything, Sophia added from her corner. Sophia, Brent snapped. No, she's right, Dad cut in. We've been unfair. And reading those comments online, seeing how many people related to your situation, it opened our eyes. My investors pulled out, Brent said flatly. My reputation's ruined. Your reputation? I laughed. My reputation was on the line every time you demanded free catering. One bad event could have tanked my business. Did you ever think about that? Silence fell. Even Brent looked taken aback. The thing is, I continued, surprising myself with how steady my voice was, I'm actually grateful this happened. My business has tripled in bookings. People respect someone who stands up for themselves. We respect you, Mom said softly. We should have said it sooner. Actions, Mom, not words. Dad cleared his throat. That's why I've reconsidered your business expansion proposal. If you're still interested, I'm not, I said firmly. I've had other investors reach out, people who believe in me without needing a viral video to prove my worth. More silence. Brent sat down heavily. So that's it? He asked. You're just done with family? No, I said. I'm done with being taken advantage of by family. There's a difference. We want to make this right, Mom pleaded. Tell us how. I looked at Kent, who gave me an encouraging nod. First, Brent apologizes. Not just for the party, but for years of broken promises and manipulation. Second, we establish boundaries. My business is my business. I'll offer family discounts when I choose to, not when they're demanded. Mom nodded eagerly. Of course, honey. And third, I paused, we start fresh. Equal footing. No more golden child, no more reliable doormat, just family, supporting each other equally. I can't believe you're making demands after what you did to me, Brent started, but Dad cut him off. Enough! Your sister is right, and you know it. Brent's face reddened, but he stayed quiet. So, I said, those are my terms. Take them or leave them. Mom wiped her eyes. We take them, right, Brent? All eyes turned to my brother. He looked around the room, then at the letter still in Sophia's hands, and finally at me on the screen. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I really am, for everything. It's a start, I replied. When do you come home? Dad asked. Tomorrow, but I have interviews scheduled all week. Interviews? Good Morning America wants to talk about toxic family dynamics in small businesses, Vada chimed in cheerfully. She's going to be famous. Brent winced. Mom looked worried. But Dad actually smiled. That's my girl, he said, standing up for herself at last. As the call ended, I fell back against my beach chair, emotionally drained but lighter somehow. Well, Kent said, that went better than expected. Think it'll last? I asked. Vada snorted. With 2 million people watching, it better. I looked out at the ocean, at my last sunset in paradise. Tomorrow I'd head home to face whatever came next. But for the first time in my life, I'd be facing it on my own terms. One more margarita? Kent suggested. Make it a double, I smiled. We're celebrating boundaries. The morning show lights were blinding as I sat across from the host, trying not to fidget with my microphone. My first national TV interview, and my family was watching. So Jade, the host began, your story has resonated with millions. Tell us what made you finally take that stand. Before I could answer, a commotion erupted off stage. My brother's voice carried clearly. I need to speak to my sister. The host's eyes widened. Security moved to intercept Brent, but I held up my hand. It's okay. Let him through. Brent stormed onto the set, his tie askew, looking like he hadn't slept. The cameras swiveled to capture every moment. You can't do this interview, he said. You can't tell everyone our family business. Sir, the host started, but I cut her off. Why not, Brent? Scared people will learn the truth? What truth? That you abandoned your family? That you manipulated me for years? I stood up. That you convinced Dad not to invest in my business by lying about your crypto scheme? The studio fell silent. Even the cameramen seemed to hold their breath. I didn't. Brent's face paled. How did you... Sophia found the emails, I said quietly. The ones where you told Dad my business was failing, that I was too emotional to handle an investment. All while you were pushing your crypto scam. It wasn't a scam, he protested, but his voice cracked. Really? Because Dad lost $60,000. Money that could have helped expand my catering business. Money that could have helped our family actually grow instead of just feeding your ego. The host leaned forward. This is an unexpected turn. Sir, would you like to respond to these allegations? Brent looked at the cameras as if seeing them for the first time. His carefully crafted image was crumbling on national television. I was trying to protect Dad's investment, he stammered. Your business was small, and I had a better plan, I finished. Like all your better plans? Like promising to help with culinary school, then buying a luxury car instead? That was 15 years ago. And you've been making promises and breaking them ever since. The only difference now is that people are finally seeing it. Movement in the wings caught my eye. Mom and Dad had arrived with Sophia beside them. Dad's face was ashen as he held up his phone, presumably showing those damning emails. Is this true? He asked Brent. Did you really say these things about your sister's business? Brent's shoulders sagged. Dad, I can explain. Explain what? Mom stepped forward. How you sabotaged your sister. How you've been playing us against each other for years. The host was practically vibrating with excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, we're witnessing an unprecedented family confrontation live on air. Turn off the cameras, I said suddenly. But, please, this isn't about ratings anymore. To my surprise, they complied. The red lights blinked off, and the studio audience was ushered out. In the sudden quiet, Brent seemed to deflate. I didn't mean for it to go this far. None of us did, Mom said. But here we are. Why? I asked him. Why sabotage me? I would have helped you anyway. I always did. Because, he whispered, you were succeeding on your own. No help, no shortcuts, just hard work and talent, and I couldn't handle it, Sophia finished. Because Aunt Jade made it honestly while you were cutting corners and manipulating people. Dad stepped forward, looking older than I'd ever seen him. I trusted you, son. With my money, with your sister's future. I'll pay it back, Brent said quickly. The crypto market will recover. Stop, I cut him off. Just stop. For once in your life, own what you did. Silence fell again. The studio lights hummed overhead. Finally, Brent spoke, his voice small. I was jealous. Of your success, your independence. Everything came so hard for me, but you made it look easy. Easy? I laughed bitterly. I worked 18-hour days. I built my business client by client while catering your free events. Nothing about it was easy. I know that now, he said. I know a lot of things now. Mom stepped between us. So what happens next? I looked at my family, really looked at them. Mom's hopeful face, Dad's disappointed one, Sophia's proud smile, and Brent's broken facade. Next, I said, we rebuild. But differently this time. With truth, respect, and actual support, not manipulation disguised as family loyalty. And the interview? The host asked from the sidelines. I smiled. I think we just gave you something better than the original story. How about we tell the truth, all of it, about family, forgiveness, and finally facing the real issues? Brent looked up. All of it? All of it, I confirmed. It's time to stop pretending. The cameras rolled again, but this time we told the real story, not just of one catering disaster, but of a family finally confronting years of hidden truths. The autumn breeze carried the scent of my newest creation, rosemary and fig tartlets, through the open windows of my expanded kitchen. My newly hired sous chef was plating appetizers while I reviewed the final details for tonight's event. The doorbell rang. I knew who it was before opening it. "I brought wine," Brent said, holding up a bottle. Not the expensive show-off kind he used to bring, but a modest local vintage I actually liked. "Come in. I'm just finishing up." He followed me to the kitchen, taking in the new equipment and expanded workspace that Dad's recovered investment had helped fund. "Big event tonight?" he asked, watching the staff work. "Just a small family gathering." I smiled. "About 60 people." "Ah." He fidgeted with the wine bottle. "Listen, I can pay—" "It's on the house," I said, "because I want to, not because you expect it." He nodded, understanding the difference now. My phone buzzed, a text from Sophia. "Got the table set up at Uncle Brent's. The irony of having your housewarming redo at his place is chef's kiss." "Nervous?" I asked him. "Terrified," he admitted. "First time hosting since, you know." "The disaster that launched 1,000 TikToks?" He actually laughed. "Something like that." The kitchen door swung open as Kent arrived with Mom and Dad. "Everything smells amazing, honey," Mom said, then hesitated. "Are you sure you want to cater this? After everything?" "Mom," I handed her a sample tartlet. "I'm not catering. I'm cooking for family. There's a difference." Dad examined the new industrial oven he'd helped finance. "Business looks good." "It is. That interview changed everything. Turns out people respect honesty more than perfect facades." Brent winced slightly. The interview had gone viral, our family's raw confrontation resonating even more than the original story. But it had also opened doors for healing, for change, for real conversations. Speaking of honesty, Brent pulled out an envelope. "I got my first real investor meeting next week. A legitimate business plan this time. Would you look it over?" I took the envelope. "You're asking my opinion? Openly? In front of witnesses?" "I'm trying this new thing called respecting my sister's expertise." "Well," I pretended to consider it, "I do have some experience with successful business launches." "And dealing with difficult family members," Kent added, dodging my playful swat. Vada burst through the door, waving her phone. "You're trending again." "What now?" I groaned. "Someone shared your story in a business leadership forum. You're being called the face of healthy boundaries in family businesses." "Great," I sighed. "More interviews?" "Actually," Dad spoke up, "I was thinking of doing some interviews myself, about learning to treat your children equally, about really listening." Mom squeezed his hand. "We both have a lot to share about that." The kitchen timer chimed. As I pulled out the last batch of appetizers, I caught Brent studying me. "What?" "Just remembering that old letter," he said. "I promised to help with culinary school, but you did it all on your own. Built something amazing." "Not entirely on my own," I corrected, looking around at my family. "I had support when I finally demanded it." "Ready to head to my place?" Brent asked. "I promise the food will actually show up this time." Everyone laughed, the old tension dissolving into something lighter, more genuine. As we loaded the cars, Sophia pulled me aside. "You know what's weird? Everything's better since it all fell apart. Like we needed to break to fix things properly." "Sometimes you do," I agreed. "Speaking of which, how's that culinary school application coming?" She beamed. "Sent it in yesterday. Think I could intern here while studying?" "Nepotism?" I raised an eyebrow. "No," she said firmly. "I want to earn it, like you did." At Brent's house, guests were already arriving, real friends this time, not just business connections. The tables Sophia had set looked beautiful, laden with food made with love rather than obligation. Brent clinked his glass for attention. "Before everyone starts eating, I want to say something." He turned to me. "Thank you, sis. Not for the food, though it looks amazing, but for having the courage to break our toxic patterns, for showing me what real success looks like. And real family," Mom added. I looked around at my expanded kitchen staff serving alongside my actual family, at the genuine smiles replacing forced ones, at the boundaries now marked with respect instead of resentment. To new beginnings, I raised my glass. And to family, the kind we choose to be, not the kind we pretend to be. The glasses clinked, the food was shared, and for the first time in forever, every smile in the room was real, including mine. This time, when family came first, it came first for all of us.